Here for the Geek Pride cast here live at UK Games Expo 2024. Friday, we're here.
Yeah, at last.
We're here. I'm quite excited. This is our first, as much as we've had a live podcast.
We've done it like, ad hoc.
We've done it in a corner, shoved off in the corner somewhere. And,
out of the way, out of sight.
We've done it shoved off. We don't have people sort of kind of staring at us as you do off camera.
Actually, I will have to say, I do want to say something. Geek Pride is recorded in front of a live studio audience. Right, I'm happy. Life go.
Yeah, we've had some like passers-by sort of wandering, gambling. Yeah. We do have somebody from Montreal all over here. Where are you two from? Florida, wow. There you go. Wow. International
audience.
International. Okay, well, Pete, first UK Expo of the year. There's not more than one, actually. There's just the one, isn't there?
This is the one.
The only one of the year.
The only one of the year.
The only one of the year. We were here last year. We were here the year before. We come every year.
Yeah. It's one of the events I really look forward to.
What are we expecting?
Games. Lots of games. No, seriously, though, I mean...
Stating the obvious, Peter.
That's me. Well, you got to establish a baseline. But no, I mean, the UK Games Expo worked by the fact it's all about gaming, celebrating gaming, and also what's coming up with the gaming. So there's lots of new stuff coming out, and I've got my eyes on quite a few games.
See, I haven't... I'm trying my best to not spend money this year.
Well, you have got a wedding coming up.
Do you have a wedding?
And a honeymoon. And a wife and a child. Yeah. So they're quite expensive.
Yeah. Like last year, I wasn't too bad because I think I only spent it was the very last moment. I spent like 60 quid. And the only reason I spent it was because it was Kingmaker. And it was a remake of a game that I used to play with my father.
And who played it?
I haven't played it, it's just sat there, but it's just like I had to sort of have it.
It's so nostalgia element.
It was a nostalgia buy. You see, I've got games I play regularly. For example, like I've got me and my brother and a couple of friends played Axis and Allies Global, which is a huge game. If anybody's ever played Axis and Allies Global, it takes you easily 10 to 18 hours to play and stuff. It's a massive game.
It's a game that you play over days.
But you can tell it's played. The box is like completely like dog-eared and stuff like that. Then you got the other games that I've got for nostalgia purposes, so like old Hero Quest, old Talisman, old Space Crusade, old games like old war games and things like that. They're all pristine in their boxes, sat on the shelves, untouched. Yeah. Will never be touched and never be sold. And then you've got the ones that I went, ooh, shiny thing from Kickstarter, and it's come in, and then I felt auto guilt for buying that thing, and.
Yeah, that's the Kickstarter problem.
Yeah, it really is.
How many in the audience have watched or read Geek Pride? Excellent. We have a fan.
We have a fan. We've got some T-shirts. Since there's only a few people here, we can give out some T-shirts. We'll get some T-shirts out, okay.
And we've got a competition towards the end to win some rather spectacular game from 3D Publishing, Mutant Year Zero Zone Wars.
Yeah. So what we're going to do is what we do at the end of the podcast is we usually have a 20 questions type thing. So you have to guess a character from a franchise, and there's only a few of you here. We will there's lots of people here, but there's only a few people here. We'll do that, and you can potentially win these. We've got some T-shirts and things as well. You can also.
And please win these, because these are heavy to carry around.
Basically, if you don't win them, you win them. So Pete doesn't have to carry them around.
Yes, I am not lazy.
Yes.
But I think, before we get started, should we sort of introduce ourselves?
Yes. Okay. So who are you, Peter?
I am Peter V. Allison, freelance journalist and writer. I write for the BBC, The Guardian, Independent, about gaming, games, and also cybersecurity and technology. I'm varied. I've also written a chapter for Deviant Legend Events of Deviants about the psychological benefits of role-playing games and how they are a platform for exploring gender identity and sexuality. And that came out last year, edited by Dr. Ian Lamond and Rosie Garland.
Well, very good. I have none of those credentials.
You set up Geek Pride. That is a good credential.
I'm a guy who got bored one day and decided to set up a website.
Yeah, but you set it with a goal. You had a goal behind it, didn't you?
Yeah, well, it's just sort of, I've told the story many times before, but it's like,
The audience who may not be aware of this story.
not used to an audience, but so we had, I was walking around. I'm a massive nerd. My whole family are nerds and stuff. We always would play board games. We had board games nights. Me and my father were into war games and stuff. We'd all play games a lot. And there was a big thing about going in and buying miniatures because we were quite artistic. We'd like to play and paint miniatures and things. And there always used to be the stigma that if you went and sort of say Games Workshop or something, you were going to get laughed at, and so you'd go in, you'd sort of secretly sort of go in, and if you bought anything, you brought another bag with you to put that stuff in because you didn't want to be sort of the nerd.
Identified as
Yeah. And it got to the point where they would actually give out, before they were sort of, back in the day, and we're talking 20 years ago, sometimes they would give you
a brown paper bag.
Yeah, just a normal bag, so you could.
Which in itself looks dubious to me.
You could hide, and I remember them giving me like a red, and it was at that point I went in, and I don't know what it was, and I was like in my 30s. I'm like, I'm 30 now, I don't care, I shouldn't care. And the guy went to me, "Do you want? I can give you a normal bag, or do you want a Games Workshop bag?" And I just kind of went, "I'll take the Games Workshop bag," and I just walked out. And it just sort of kind of bounced around my head, and I was like, "Why am I so ashamed of this? It's like it's my entire life.
Yeah,
it's what
your
I do.
identity.
Yeah, it's my identity. It's everything I do.
Yeah.
It's everything I'm proud of. I'm happy about. What makes me happy, and then that's where it started.
Yeah.
And we've been going. How long have we been going now?
12
years? 15
15 years.
Probably about 15 years now.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I mean,
how long have you been with us?
Yes.
Yes.
I think
it's been a whirlwind ride, Pete.
Yeah, it's been about a year after you set up that I came along.
Yeah. So you're going to be like 13, 14 years in, I think.
And I remember I was basically started writing because...
When did you start doing the podcast? Because we've been doing the podcast pretty much
I started doing the podcast back in 2020, during the height of the first lockdown in the UK.
Really? It was only 4 years ago you only started doing the podcast?
Yeah, basically, I was kind of a bit shy. As odd as that may seem, I was a bit shy. But also, it's kind of, I remember because chatting around with each other online, and we're talking, what could we do as a bunch of geeks on a website to contribute? I mean, the world was effectively in shock. We were in a global pandemic. We weren't scientists. We weren't biogeneticists. What could we do to help? I thought, well, if we could just kind of sit around and share some random chat together and just cheer people up. So it's kind of like, that was kind of where the push came from. Like, well, let's kind of have a chat with people, tell them they're not alone, that there's people out there that are chatting away, and just kind of gives them a bit of relief. If someone could laugh for 5 seconds listening to us, mission accomplished. That was how I saw it.
Yeah, I have to say I'm the same. Like, as much as lots of people is obviously it's good, but it's when you get that sort of person who has that something that affects
just to help. You want to help.
Yeah, that one thing. That's
And it kind of grew from there because I know we had we regularly invite guests online. So we had like Dave Chapman, who's developing the Laundry Files role-playing game. We've got Gav Thorpe, Adrian Tchaikovsky, Dana Fredstey, and loads of other people on from literally around the world. And it's just kind of just
quite an eclectic group of people, to be fair. We've done pretty much everything from books, literature, music, art, gaming, RPGs. We've got loads of RPG guys on.
There's some strange reasons.
Loads of RPG guys on. So it's quite an eclectic group.
But again, like the core element is like they are geeks in some shape or another. I mean, as Neil Stephenson once said, we're all geeks now. So like whether you could be geeking about role-playing games or war games or football or maths or music, you're a geek. I think you're obsessing about something, you're really passionate about something. We kind of invite those people that are passionate about what they do.
It's not as big a stigma. It's still a stigma, I think. It's still a stigma to be a geek, to be a nerd, and you do get grief for it. Not so much as me as now. I'm slightly better, well built than I was when I was younger, so it's not as outward. But you get that sort of pushback from a lot of people. I remember being on the dating scene when I was single. Thank God I'm not single anymore. But and it was pretty bad because as soon as you started mentioning, I love Lord of the Rings, and oh hey, look at my massive nerd cave.
Yeah, but now we have had Game of Thrones. Okay, we forget about the last couple of seasons. Please forget, because I do. But you have Game of Thrones out, and suddenly everyone became a fan of fantasy. And you got like Westworld. Everyone's a fan of science fiction now.
I didn't like the second season, and I didn't watch the third. I think they should have stepped. Just on a random note, I think Westworld should have stopped after the first season.
I think that's fair. I mean, we watched the first season and we loved it. The second season was, it was okay. First season, not even touched it.
Yeah. This is what I'm worried about, and we're going off in tangents here, but
expect this on the podcast. We will go off in random tangents and get back on the point. I promise.
Shogun, I don't want them to have another season. Okay. One, because I'm a history nerd, and historically, after that period, there's not a lot that happens. You know, they have a bit of a.
I think, if I recall, the next show, because if you read the books.
No, I've not read.
Right, okay. They're going to look at doing the prequels before that.
Oh, right,
building
okay.
up to the point.
So why didn't they do that in the first place?
Because
there was a massive. I don't understand it. I understand because it's based on the book.
Because Shogun is the most popular book from the series, so therefore they went with the most popular book to therefore create a popular series and then build from there. Unfortunately, they kind of got the situation where everyone really likes the series, and I'm still watching it at the moment. I've watched the first episode. My wife doesn't like it because there was a threat against a baby, and she went, nope, nope. So we started watching, what was it we watched? Lockwood & Co.
What's that?
Which is interesting.
What's Lockwood & Co?
I've watched Dead Boy Detectives.
Yeah, it's actually pretty good.
It's similar to that, very similar vibe to that. Like the dead have come back. Well, instead of like the detectives being dead, investigating dead crimes, it's more like some children, and now for some reason the problem happened 50 years ago, and the dead have come back, and they kind of contain these various kind of supernatural events, which kind of throws up the whole like child endangerment laws. Now the other issue I've had with it is like it's meant to be set 50 years in the future, but technologically it's gone back 30 years, so people are using cassettes. And that's just doing my head in. Because, I mean, it's got something like that retro element, kind of earmarked by Stranger Things. But the kind of set like 50 years from now, and it's just like, no, that doesn't work for me. And it's kind of, it leaves me twitching a bit and gibbering if I think too hard about it. But it's okay. I mean, the story, the ideas are good, the characters are good. So it's kind of like, yeah, it's okay.
We're good for TV. I think at the minute we're quite spoiled for it, to be fair.
And films. I mean, look at like we just had Furiosa.
And the new Dune as well.
And the new Dune, which I've not watched yet.
It's good. It's good. Obviously, they're going to move on to the third, though it's going to be a bit wacky, but I think it should be.
Oh, the God Emperor of Dune.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I just played War on Arrakis. The cool minis are not one. Cool minis are not need to stop making games because it hurts my wallet.
It hurts your wallet, yeah.
It really hurts my wallet. That's so painful.
Yeah.
It's like I get so many other games. Like I'm in big for the Song of Ice and Fire tabletop game. Obviously I've got that. I had loads of other ones. Awakened Realms are the same.
There are a lot of games based on existing franchises, like the Dune. Do you think that's a problem? Because the developers are marketing games based on existing IP.
No, I think it's sort of tapping into the sort of nostalgia, especially because people who are buying these games now have been brought up with those IPs when they're younger.
But is that a good method for creating a game?
It's a good game. It's a good method of getting people into a game and then moving on with different mechanics. So, for example, the War on Arrakis game is based on the War of the Ring mechanics. So, if you've ever played War of the Ring, it's similar-ish in the way it's sort of set up. It's not as complicated and it's not as big. It's the same sort of mechanics. But I guess, if you get them into that sort of IP, you can kind of go, you can move them on to different things. Yeah, so it's the same like, D&D, 5e and stuff. If you know 5e, and then you can go. Well, there's a different.
I struggled in using some 5e systems because they're kind of like shoehorning the 5e system, which was designed for Dungeons and Dragons, which is kind of very epic high fantasy, but changing the genre. So it's kind of like doing Simbaroom. The Runes of Simbaroom has been adapted to 5e, which like the original Runes of Simbaroom is very gritty, grim, dark element of low fantasy. There's fantasy elements in it. There's magical elements in it, but it's very low magic. But you're kind of shoehorning in the 5e system as well, so it kind of feels like a square peg round hole system.
So what? But back to the point: are you saying it's not a good thing to have IPs moving into games?
I think it needs to be compatible, is what I'm saying. I mean, completely countering my own argument here, I am hypocritical, is that the League Publishing released the Aliens role-playing game. Has anyone played that? Okay, really, check it out. It's a really good game. Because they're taking their own in-house.
The artwork in the book's amazing.
The artwork.
Well, all the Free League books are amazing. All the artwork's great. Yeah.
But they've taken the original in-house game system and adapted it for Alien. And it works incredibly well because they've got the stress mechanics, which basically reflects like the growing stress of being attacked by aliens. And like a little bit of stress, it kind of gets people, focused, but too much stress and people break down. Pretty much like what happens in Aliens. And it works brilliantly, and it looks amazing. And
so you're saying that franchises, so you're changing back your word?
I think I've been choosing the right system for the right game works. Trying to shoehorn any system into any game is a recipe for challenges, shall we say. A disconnect, almost like the...
I'll say on when it comes to movie IP, game IP, Steamforge do a lot of computer game IP stuff. It's good for selling, and I think because you're more inclined to buy, if you are solely there just to try and sell games, which in the end, your company, you're trying to sell games. It's good for selling games because people are aware of that property, and you don't have to sell the story in the background because it's already been sold to you because you've played that game, you've watched that film.
Because the people, you players especially, already have an existing knowledge of the IP.
Yeah,
so they don't need to kind of, for example, with a role-playing game like Earthdawn, which has its own setting, completely unique, and players kind of feel compelled to, I need to understand about Earthdawn and the horrors and the terror. And, dwarves are the default species, not humans, because dwarves had their own cairns, which they could hide in during the terrors.
Well, you've got, I think, so back in the days, for example, we'll go back to Games Workshop, they had their own IP, they had something that they created, and it's the same with D&D. They created something, and then it had to sort of, because there wasn't a lot going on, similar things, it could break through and people would go, oh, that's amazing. Yeah. The problem we have now, well, it's a sort of double-edged sword.
So you're saying there's too many role-playing games and board games?
There's too many role-play games, there's too many board games. I'm not sure if anybody here will agree with me, but you get stressed.
Do you agree?
I haven't finished my thing.
You can't ignore the audience. The audience is key.
I get stressed having too many games. Is that something that sort of do you feel like if you don't play the games that you've bought that? Yeah. Does it stress you out? Yeah.
I'm very pro having a collection, pairing it, and replacing with new, pairing it.
See, that's a sensible thing to do. You see.
I like to hoard.
Yeah. Well, I'm the same, but then I get to the point where I get stressed out because I've got so many games that I've not played. They've been sat there for ages. I've got a pile of grey plastic that yay big, and I'm just panicking because I spent all this money. I'm not doing anything with it. I'm stressing out because I want to do stuff with it, but I can't. And it gets to the point where and then Kickstarter keeps on going, hey, have you checked this out? Oh my God, this thing's amazing. You want this as well. And then you're just more gets piled. And so the point is that you have a situation where there's lots of consumers now for board games, RPGs, tabletop miniature games and things, and you have this sort of, you have to break through. And if you've got your own IP, as much as that's good, and you will find people who'd be interested in that, it's easier for somebody to go, hey, I've got a Star Wars game.
Yeah.
And they're going to go, yeah, all right, I'm totally into Star Wars.
Has anyone played the Star Wars game by
Fantasy
role-playing
Flight.
game?
Say it again?
The Star Wars role-playing game by...
I've not played it, actually.
Really, really good system, actually. Really, really... To be honest, they developed the system for Star Wars, Fantasy Flight games.
Yes.
Developed the Star Wars role-playing game, 3 editions of it, and they developed their own system for it. And it's such a good system that they essentially adapted to what they call the Genesis system and done it as a system-agnostic role-playing game. So take the original Star Wars role-playing game and just stripped out all the Star Wars elements and said, right, here's a new role-playing system. And it works really, really well. It's a really, like, you can pass or fail, but then you also got, like, benefits and disadvantages. So you could fail, but have lots of benefits. So, for example, in Star Wars, when Han Solo gets distracted by alerts the stormtroopers to his presence, but in doing so, he finds the Ewoks, because that was to their benefit. But equally, you could succeed, but have disadvantages. So, for example, like again, going back to Star Wars, you could have like Han Solo, like, oh, all fine here, all fine, no need to come up. And he succeeds for a bit. Then he shoots the the communications unit, and suddenly something does seem to be going wrong. So it has that granularity, and if you particularly mean GM, hilarity as well. So it's well worth checking out.
That's the one thing. We keep bouncing around, but it's sort of segueing onto things automatically. But
this is our style. We are very
conversational.
Conversational. We have a very conversational.
Yeah.
We don't have a strict routine.
There is no structure.
No.
We used to have structure back in the day. We used to have sections, but they went out the window very quickly.
Well, I think that's honest. We are very relaxed, very positive. We don't talk down. We don't talk smack. We don't, because life's too short. Let's kind of spread a bit of positivity. It's my watchword.
Your watchword.
My watchword.
Yes. I'm just thinking back to all the, Guardian, BBC, this, that, the other and stuff, and then I'm like, yeah, I work for an insurance company. But anyway.
I'm professional.
Anyway, back to where we were. So we can agree that big names, it's an easier sell.
Yeah, I think we definitely agree. Yeah, I mean, it's a recognition. And I think being recognised, especially in such a big, gaming is a big industry now. I mean, video games in particular is, I think, one of the top industries in the UK. It's literally, which shocks me. I mean, it's bigger than cinema in the UK.
Really?
Yeah. Because, the UK film industry is pretty pants. I mean, we've had a few good ones, like, anyone found a Neil Marshall? Neil Marshall? No? Okay. That's your homework. No, he's a fantastic director, British director. He did Dog Soldiers, Centurion, Doomsday. Really worth checking out. And it's from where I live. Well, from where I live. That's really bad English. From where I was born, in the northeast of England. And it really ties it into the area and the locations when he's filming.
We've got a little prize thing to do.
Yeah.
We've got 30 minutes.
Yeah, I've got 30 minutes. Congratulations. You can count.
Shall we do it now?
Yes, I do now. Yeah.
Okay. All right, there's 3 of yous. You're all going to get a T-shirt anyway, I think. But to win these...
It's all in one. You can't split them up because one's expansion of the other, so...
Okay, I'll tell you what. Okay, so this is how it's going to work. So we're going to bring you forward, and we're going to think... Now, nerdy franchises-wise, I'm basically going to think of a character. I'm going to tell you what franchise it is, and then you have to. It's like a 20-question thing. So you can have a turn. You get to ask the question, and the first person to get it wins the things. But I will put it out there because Pete's very good at giving you super obscure ones or super easy ones. I'm sort of in between. So I can do Lord of the Rings. I can do Star Wars. I can do Star Trek to an extent. I can do Game of Thrones. Those are my sort of kind of main, or Marvel, I guess, would be another one and stuff. What's your favorite?
Eco choice.
Star Wars. All right. Okay. Right. Going for Star Wars. I'll try and one that I've done in the podcast before. So.
Show us how it needs kind of easy one to get a feel for it.
Okay, so we do a practice one and then okay, we'll do a practice one and then winner takes all. All right, okay. So Star Wars. Ask the questions and we'll start off with you.
Is it a droid?
No.
Does it speak English when we see it on the screen?
Yes.
Okay. Is it one of the main characters?
Which there's always a start.
The original trilogy.
It's he is not one of the main characters.
Do they appear humanoid like
They are human.
Okay, human.
Can it fly like a plane or a spaceship?
He has a spaceship.
Okay.
It's not a spaceship.
He's not a spaceship. He has a spaceship.
Okay, is he Han Solo?
He is not Han Solo.
No. Wedge Antilles.
Ooh, no.
Princess Leia's brother.
No. Oh, what's his name?
There's loads of questions you asked to break it down.
Well. Oh, is he Anakin?
It's not Anakin.
Okay.
So it's original trilogy.
Okay.
More specifically, the first one,
Oh, okay.
The New Hope.
Scum and Villainy.
He's not Scum and Villainy.
Does he wear Jedi robes?
Nope. You're gonna kick yourselves.
Is he Gold Leader?
He is not Gold Leader. But that's not Gold Leader. It's in the same sort of ballpark, though. I'll give you that clue.
Okay. Do they fly an X-wing?
They do fly an X-wing.
I'm afraid. Can I pass?
Okay. He dies.
Yeah, but no, I don't know the name.
You don't know the X-wing pilot?
Porkins?
Oh, close, not Porkins.
Gosh, we're back to me.
You don't know any of them? No.
Nope, I'm gonna pass.
Come on, I could bring off all the pilots.
Okay, Wedge Antilles, Lee Porkins, I think is his name.
There's one more. He's Luke's wingman.
Yeah, it's he used to shoot womp rats.
Yeah.
It's gonna come to me.
Biggs.
Biggs.
That was the easy route too.
Okay. So we know the level then. So we know the level. We know the level. Okay. Right. So this is for all the bacon. Right. So we will go for. Okay. All right. Okay. If you don't get this one, you'll be very disappointed in you. Okay. All right. Okay. So Star Wars. We will start on this side.
Okay. Thank you.
Good question is, are they in all three?
Okay.
Might be a good question.
Three.
They're not. He's in. I'll say for the start you off. He's in one film. He's in one of the
Only
films.
one.
Technically he's in two films.
Okay.
He's technically in two films, but he's in. So he's.
Okay.
Okay, I'm giving away. He's technically in two films.
Is he Boba Fett?
He is not Boba Fett.
You never know.
Does he speak English
Yes,
in this show?
he does.
Okay.
Speak English. Oh, speak English. Is he human or?
He is human.
Does he fly a spaceship?
He. Not really, no.
Does he wear Jedi robes?
Nope.
Just gonna stick with my question.
Scum and Villainy?
Nope.
So, one of the good guys?
Nope, not one of you guys.
No?
So that leaves.
Sorry, did we ask if he flies a spaceship?
Yeah, so he doesn't really fly a spaceship.
Okay.
So he's not Scum and Villainy. He's not one of the good guys, so that makes him Imperial.
Bird. I don't know.
Emperor Palpatine?
Ooh, no, close.
Is he Tarkin?
Start again.
Tarkin?
He is Grand Moff Tarkin.
Grand Moff.
Congratulations! There you go. Oh, amazing! Yeah. And for everybody else, we will give you some T-shirts and stuff. But yeah, thank you for joining us for the thing. We'll carry on chit chatting for another 5 or 10 minutes, and then we'll.
Fantastic.
Right. Out of sync usually. It's usually at the end. It's usually at the end. I just thought because we'd stop the camera, it'd be worth it. But yeah, there you go. Congratulations to Stefan for winning Grand Moff
that
Tarkin.
was nicely done.
Yeah. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't have to carry that game anymore, so I'm really pleased with that because that was heavy.
You've come up with some pretty obscure ones.
I like to challenge the viewers and the guests. I don't want to make it too easy. Like I do sometimes. I like balance out, keep people on their toes.
Keep people on their toes.
Exactly.
Yeah. The thing is, when people you get them to come on and they're like, want to talk about Doctor Who, and I'm like, I don't know anything about Doctor Who. I'm just like, is he a TARDIS?
Yeah. That's the thing. I mean, to be fair, I had that problem with Lord of the Rings. I read the books 30 years ago.
You haven't seen the films, Pete?
I've seen the films.
Oh, that's right. You're the sort of person, you skip over things, don't you?
Yes, I skip over.
Oh, this is the biggest travesty you will ever hear. He says we were doing a podcast. He informs me that we were talking about Cobra Kai. He doesn't watch. He watches the first one, skips 3 or 4 of them, and then watches the end. And I'm like,
you skip so much melodrama doing that, and get straight to the plot.
Oh man, I can't believe it.
Pointless melodrama.
The only time I think that might work
Is with Cobra Kai? Yes, absolutely.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
That's quality. No. The only thing is Walking Dead towards the end.
That's
Like I gave up on that. I used to love it, and then it just got to the point. It got so formulaic that you had one good episode, you had a load of naff filler about people you didn't give a shit about, one good one in the middle, and then sort of one or two at the end that was good. So I would literally just do that, and that. It's like, oh look, they're happy, they found a place. Oh no, somebody's attacking the place. Oh no, somebody's dead, and then sort of they move on, and that's sort of kind of what happened.
I like the first season of The Walking Dead because they had moments of trauma and terror, but you had moments of fun and joy. Like you had Glenn, I think, kind of blasting up that motorway, the highway, in that stolen car with the car alarm blaring away. But that was just him having fun. And you needed that moment to contrast with the sheer terror of, oh my God, there's someone who's dead walking towards me and trying to eat my face. That worked, but when you, especially like season 2 onwards, they kind of leaned into the terror so much that it just became
I don't know
monotonous.
if I agree. I don't know if I agree. I like the first 3 seasons, I think. It was just because it became too formulaic. It was literally, for me, like, it wasn't really about the zombies. It was about them surviving.
Has anyone read the original comics by, Walking Dead comics? Anyone read them? Really, really good. The creator describes them as a soap opera with zombies. And that's exactly why it works. It focuses on the human relations in a time of crisis rather than on the zombies. And that's why it works. When the Walking Dead series kind of focuses on the zombies and killing zombies and attacking zombies, we've always got to have an action scene involving Daryl shirtless. Every episode, it's like, no.
Daryl's not in the comics, though, is he?
No. It's very much inspired by rather than recreating.
Yeah, but like I said, I really enjoyed it. It was just because it became to that point where you literally could predict what was happening. And the sort of what annoyed me was they were stretching it out to too many episodes. They should have just done 10 episodes and then sort of knocked out all that crap filler. It's like you don't care about those people. You have certain people who you're invested in and you want to just sort of see and stuff like that, all the main ones, and then.
We now got also 2 spin-off series from The Walking Dead TV show.
Yeah, I've not watched them.
And again, I have no interest in watching it because it just feels incredibly formulaic. And it doesn't tell me anything new or different other than there's zombies, people trying to survive, oh no, what a shock. And it's just, tell me something new, show me something new, give me something different. Why should I be invested in these characters?
Okay. To the antithesis of that, what's your favourite series? What's one that really sort of engaged you?
Two. I've got two series. Incredibly obscure. Has anyone watched The Almighty Johnsons? Brilliant TV series from New Zealand. Four brothers turned out to be the descendants of Norse gods, and they're basically due to the gods mingling with humans, their bloodlines sort of diluted throughout the generations. Now, the kick-off of the series is the youngest brother finds out they are the descendant of Odin, which kicks off a whole new issues for them, basically kicking in this prophecy. But their powers, I say, have diluted, so Odin can just, it's basically Odin. There's Ty, who's descendant of Hod, got a thing, all things like dark and cold, but all he can do is just lower the temperature slightly. And it's kind of like deals with the fact that these four brothers bickering with each other, and every now and then they've got to deal with these god issues turning up. And they basically just don't want any of that. They just want to be down the pub, the bar, having fun with the mates. But no, they've got Thor turning up, being barking mad.
Have you seen American Gods?
Yeah, hated it.
Really? Didn't like it? Did you read the book?
I've read the book, I've enjoyed the book, but it was just too... Each scene in the American Gods worked, but as part of the wider, overarching narrative, it just felt jumbled. And it didn't feel like there was any kind of interaction between the real world and the world of gods. Like, at one point, one of the characters takes down the moon and gives it a little light source to someone. No one actually in the rest of the world goes, we've just lost the moon. So you have that, well, you don't have that interaction. But in the Mighty Johnson, they do actually have that. They do have that sort of interaction between the god world and the human world. And they say, no, whenever gods and humans mix, it's never good. So it's really worth checking out because it really digs into the human elements of the characters.
What's the second one?
The second one is Into the Badlands. Anyone watch that? Kung Fu, yes, I am a massive Kung Fu nerd as well. But no, it's
I'm surprised you haven't gone for sci-fi. One you bang on about, we bang about all the time in every single podcast.
The Expanse.
The Expanse.
Yeah.
I thought The Expanse would be one.
The Expanse is really good. Like, absolutely. Fans of The Expanse?
Oh mate, you need to see all of them. It is potentially the best sci-fi I have ever seen on TV.
The first 3 episodes are slow build-up burn.
Yeah.
Then the 4th episode kicks in, which is whoomph, and it just keeps going.
Yeah, I remember you banging on it. I know we'll talk about. Sorry, we'll go back to the other one afterwards. But I remember sort of being on the podcast and people banging on about it. I'm not watching that. It's on Sci-Fi. Sharknado's on Sci-Fi. I don't want to watch it. It's like I had zero interest in it. And then it sort of moved to Amazon for season 5, I think. Or was it 4? 4 or 5?
Amazon season 4, I think, because Jeff Bezos wanted to watch the rest of it.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. So, and I was like, and it was on, and everybody been banging on about it, and I was like, I've got Amazon Prime. I'll give it a go. And I literally watched the first season in one night, and then watched the next sort of 4 or 5 seasons pretty much within the next day on my own. I was like, "Why? I can't believe I haven't watched this before." So good. And the good thing about it, now the 6th season, they've obviously reduced this to 6 episodes, and they've
really condensed the story.
They've condensed it a lot, but it's not a bad ending.
No,
and
it works.
Yeah.
It ends well, but opens up with the possibility of continuing the story at some point in the future.
But yeah, as it goes for sci-fi, man, I've watched a lot of TV, a lot of sci-fi stuff, and it's if not the best sci-fi program that's been on.
Comparisons, I think, would be Battlestar Galactica before it went crap.
After season 3, so basically anything after season 3.
Yeah, or Firefly.
Do you know what? I've never watched Firefly. Or I've not watched Serenity. I've never watched Firefly. It's my badge of honor. Everybody's like, I've never watched Firefly. And it's one of those ones I don't want to watch. I don't know if I want to watch it because it annoys people so much that I've not watched it. It's kind of one of those ones, like my missus has not watched Star Wars, and I'm just like twitching at it and stuff. So it's like, what? You not watched it? So when my friends say you've not watched Firefly, I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna watch Firefly.
Oh, you just use it to wind people up. Don't you?
I will probably watch it at one point in time, but then I kind of like having that. Yeah, well, I'll watch it.
But yeah, like Into the Badlands is loosely inspired by Journey to the West, classic piece of Chinese literature, and it's sort of like a post-apocalyptic kung fu drama. It's the best way I can describe it, and it's great.
What's it on?
Amazon Prime in the
Okay.
UK. Prime for you guys?
Either sci-fi or FX. Or
Yeah.
It was
Worth putting down, but it's original story. The main character, and actually many of the characters are all trained in Kung Fu. So that's why the Kung Fu really works, because they don't bring in stunt doubles, such as what happened with, not Luke Cage,
The Iron Fist.
Iron Fist, where basically you see like Danny Rand put up his hood, you go, oh, it's going to be a Kung Fu battle now. Because like, quick, get the stunt guy in.
Well, it's like Daredevil. They had some really good scenes. Like
Yeah.
it was reminiscent, especially actually the first sort of Daredevil fight scene, main fight scene was similar to.
corridor fights.
And then and there was one actually when the Punisher in the jail cell and stuff
Yeah.
where it was kind of like if you've ever seen a film called The Raid. Have you ever seen The Raid?
Yeah, brilliant.
Where
piece
it's
of
just like pure like amazing fighting choreography, man. And there's no cuts. It's literally just sort of
one continuous
yeah, they just
take
fight.
through it.
Yeah, it's so good.
Yeah, and Into the Badlands is similar vibe. They kind of brought in trained martial artists to do the fight, and it works. Like I'm watching it going, I recognise that move. I could do that. Maybe no, I'm nearly 50. I'm 50 next year. No, I couldn't. But no, it works. It's a really original story. It's got some fantastic girl power in it. The widow, played by Emily Beecham, is just brilliant. And yeah, there's some pure, undiluted, fun storytelling. Well worth checking out. You will not be disappointed.
What about you guys? What's your favorite series at the minute? What would you say is your top series? I'll bring over a microphone.
I mean, overall, Doctor Who.
You're a Doctor Who fan?
Yeah, our wedding was Doctor Who themed.
Oh, we'll go on to that. What about yourself?
Oh, well, recently I'm not sure, but yeah, Andor,
Andor was so good. Andor's amazing. What about here's something for you. You might hate me for this, but Rogue One is the best Star Wars film. Yes! Yeah, it's like so many people who don't agree with me. Oh yes, so it's so good. It's just
It was Saving Private Ryan set in the Star Wars universe.
exactly the whole thing about it is that, and we're not even on camera. Pete, it's just pointing at Pete here, but well, so here we're having a chat over at the sidelines here. But it's sort of like it's the fact that it doesn't have all the magic and it doesn't have all the Jedi stuff. It's literally just sort of, it's a war film. This is a war film.
You do have the Force stuff in
Kind of towards the end. It's the fact that bit where
No,
Darth...
but the reference by the characters, as in like what's it? The blind gentleman.
Yeah,
Yes,
that's
yeah.
it.
Where he believes in the Force. He believes single. He may not be Force. It's
Force is
hinted-
with me.
Force is with me. I'm one with Force.
I'm
It's
one with Force,
hinted
Force
that he
with
might be possibly Force, but it's never explicitly stated.
No,
and it just uses a sort of faith for him. And that scene where he walks across, and you think, yeah, it's brilliantly done, but it's not the Force. It's not lightsabers. It's just someone having their own faith.
The bit when Darth Vader sort of in the corridor, it was just like, and the lightsaber comes up and he's just kicking ass. I'm like, oh my god, it's the best. This is so good. It was just like the whole film was just like, oh, I'm so impressed with this. I did an article on the website saying Rogue One better than Empire, and I got absolutely slammed by so many people. And I was just like, I cannot. It's just so good. I love that film so much.
I must say, I really like it when they lean into, again, going to echo something I said before, when they lean into the kung fu elements of sports, when they bring in trained actors to do the lightsaber battles. Look at like Ray Park as Darth Maul, when he's jumping around and flipping over. Yes, that is Ray Park doing it, and it works. And people say, yes, Darth Maul is our favourite Sith because he is doing all those really cool moves.
He is possibly one. I would agree. I would say that, and I've said this before. It was cool. Sort of everybody sort of was down on the Phantom Menace, and I was
He was
never.
the saving grace of it.
I was never I never hated it and stuff. But I would say that Darth Maul is possibly one of the best bad guys there's been, and some of the best lightsaber battles, which have sort of encouraged the more...
Because he was doing genuine fight moves. In Kung Fu movies. I was having a chat with my teacher, Stefan, about lightsaber. We were practicing Bokken for the second form, which is like basically a wooden sword. And I remember saying to her one time, "Don't you ever kind of pretend there's a lightsaber?" And she goes, "If I listen very carefully when I'm practicing, I can hear that faint hum." And I was like, "Yes, you are a colossal nerd like me." But it's the fact that we spent half an hour, one session, talking about this Shaolin style, the Shaolin Kung Fu style of Ray Park's. And the music, and yeah, I could do some of his moves. But I can't get tired of the fact that it's real. And like some people, there's almost an over-reliance on waifu and why it works, where it sort of takes you out. But when you see someone doing something like Darth Maul's moves, and it is genuine moves, it kind of embeds you in that moment. Because it's not someone using effects to do that. No, it's someone flipping over and cartwheeling. So
yeah, I think him being has ever been seen Solo, by the way, before I ruin it? You've seen Solo and stuff. Underrated, I think, completely underrated. But him appearing at the end of Solo was quality.
Yeah, it was nicely done.
I'm gutted about Solo because I really enjoyed it, and I think it just got a bad rap. I think it just came out at the wrong time or something. But
I am waiting for the Lando film because there have been constant rumours, and they're not going away that we will have a Lando Calrissian film. And the actor, was it Danny Glover? Danny Glover nailed it.
Childish Gambino. Donald Glover. Danny Glover is from Predator 2 and Die Hard. Yeah. I'm too old for this shit.
That moment when he kind of sits back and goes, "Everything you've heard about me is true." It's just, yes, that is Lando. The pure...
He did, yeah. It's just completely underrated film. I thought it was really good.
I really liked it.
Played really well. Back to the couple at the back with their Doctor Who. I'll bring this over again. Who's your doctor?
I switch between 11 and 12 a lot. I really like Matt Smith.
I'm a Doctor Who fan, so who is 11 and who's 12?
Matt Smith, and then Peter Capaldi is 12.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think Capaldi is maybe my favorite just because his arc of being a crusty old man into one of the most focused and dedicated protectors of the people he loves was just amazing.
See, I grew up with Sylvester McCoy.
Oh, yeah.
So I was a Sylvester McCoy kid. I just remember it being really bleak and very dark and stuff. And I remember an episode where there was like cats, like big cats and stuff like that, and just been kind of freaked out about it. What's your thing?
David Tennant.
Oh, David Tennant, man. Do you like Good Omens?
Yeah, I started watching it. Yeah, I've watched I think 3 episodes, but I got sidetracked with something else. But yeah, it was funny.
Yeah, it's good. There's the second season, and hopefully there'll be a third season coming out soon as well. All right, how long have we got left, Pete? 5 minutes?
5 minutes. 5 minutes.
5 minutes. All right. Okay. Well, with 5 minutes left, I guess there's not much to say. Just to thank...
We've done the 20 questions.
We've done the 20 questions, which we usually do at the end of the podcast, so that's good. Congratulations for the win. There you go. So yeah, but just thank you for joining us. We weren't expecting very much. We didn't do a lot of PR and stuff. We just thought we'd try it out for things. So thank you very much. Coming all the way from America and from Montreal.
We are intercontinental.
International, baby. So yeah, I appreciate you coming. Really, really great. And I guess we'll just leave it there.
Yeah.
Pete. So
thank you very much for coming. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Yeah. Yep. For me, I've been Matt Geary. With me has been Peter Hamilton. And our, who have we got? We'll do, because there's only a few of these.
Introductions.
We'll do the introductions and exos. What do you got?
Christine from Florida.
August from Florida.
Stefan from Montreal.
Guys, thank you very much. It's been an absolute pleasure. Have yourselves an amazing UK Games Expo, and we'll catch you later.
Yeah. Bye.